We turn now to Senator John McCain, who joins us from Ljubljana, Slovenia. Senator, I want to ask you, you'd like the administration to take a series of steps in Syria to knock out the Syrian Air Force, set up safe zones. It appears from Secretary Tillerson that the administration is not going to do anything more than the actions it already has taken. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think what the president did was an excellent first step, and it was a reversal of the last 8 years, and I think it was important. But it's now vitally important we develop a strategy, we put that strategy in motion, and we bring about peace in the region. And that obviously means that there has to be a cessation of these war crimes. John, using chemical weapons is a war crime, but starving thousands of people in prisons is also. Barrel bombs, which indiscriminately kill innocent civilians. Precision strikes done by Russians on hospitals in Aleppo are war crimes as well. So there's a lot of war crimes that are taking place. And another aspect of this that I do not agree with the Secretary is that you have to just concentrate on ISIS. We will take Mosul, we will take Raqqa, and we better have strategies as to how to handle those places once we have won it. But they're not disconnected from Bashar Assad and the Al-Qaeda and the war crimes that have been taking place. So you can't, to a large degree, Bashar Assad, by polarizing the Syrian people, have also given rise to ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So they are both connected, and I believe that the United States of America can address both at the same time. We can walk and chew gum. We have the capability to do both. And yes, we want a negotiated settlement, but the only way that that'll happen is if it's not in their interest to continue what they've been successful at for over 8 years. And that's why I thought symbolically and psychologically the president's action was very important, but now we'd better follow it up. And by the way, we should have cratered the runways.
Just to follow up on that, Senator, Secretary of State Tillerson said when I listed those other parts of Syrian efforts that you mentioned, he said that America needs to, quote, keep its priorities straight and focus on ISIS. But your argument is that taking care of the humanitarian actions that Bashar al-Assad is taking, that's a part of the fight against ISIS as well.
I think they're totally connected. And also, when you see these crimes that are being committed, they're horrifying. John, I also believe that a grieving mother whose child has been killed isn't too concerned whether it's a chemical weapon or a barrel bomb. He's still slaughtering people. And we may stop the chemical weapons, but we've also got to stop the other indiscriminate, inhumane war crimes that are being committed as well. And that means, obviously, trying to set up some kind of safe zone so that these refugees can have a place where they can be, and also that would help with the refugee flow.
What did the president accomplish with his attacks on Syria?
John, I think he accomplished two things. One is, I think he sent a very strong message to the Syrian president that he cannot use chemical weapons, that he cannot use sarin in the future, and I imagine that will stick. I don't think Assad will use sarin again. I think that is deterrence worked here. I think the second message that was sent was to our other adversaries, primarily North Korea and Iran, that the United States, that this president will back up red lines, that he will protect the interests of the United States with military action if necessary. It's a very, very powerful message as well. I think what wasn't accomplished here was as important as what was. And what wasn't accomplished is we did not deter the Syrian president from continuing the war against his own people using conventional.
Secretary Tillerson's very clear two-step process. Get rid of ISIS, that's the priority. He almost sounded as if dealing with Assad on the barrel bombs and the humanitarian blockage was a distraction from ISIS. How do you see those two matching up?
So I think Senator McCain is exactly right. These are linked. You cannot ultimately defeat ISIS without getting rid of Assad. He has no credibility with the largest percentage of his population, which are the Sunnis. He will never get it back. He will never get their support back. And as long as that's the case, as long as he's there, that will feed extremists. Whether it's this ISIS or whether it's ISIS 2.0 down the road, Assad has to go. They are connected.